Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Amir.
and welcome to the Mustardcast, a podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, we're going to start with media consuming. We're going to start with Amir. I did this because I'm never sure which hand to use to point towards to you.
On my screen, I'm this way. Yeah. What media have I been consuming recently? We talked about this off pod. The Invincible show has gotten me to start reading the Invincible comics, and so I haven't read in a couple of days. But in like 3 days, I went from issue 0, which is the origin issue, and I'm on like issue 76. And there's only like 144 issues, give or take, like a tie-in or two. And it is really good. I really like the comic. I like the show more just a little bit because in the beginning of the comic, it's like if you watch the show first and then start reading the comic, it feels like the comic skipped over a bunch of stuff where the show just really started like expanding on a lot of the early issues. Like in the comic, in the most recent episode, the events happen in there, where in the comic it's like issue 17, but like the events in that episode, but combined with everything else, is like all pre-issue 12. So it's a little weird, but I kind of like it. Yeah. I really do like the show. I like the comic better, but that's just because I'm like way further into the story at this point.
Yeah. You think, without spoiling it, you think the first season is going to end off with that big fight?
Yeah, I'm almost certain. I feel like this is gonna be like a 6 or 7 season show, and I'm already have like the first like 3 seasons. Like I've already identified like where the season finale for like the first 3 seasons are gonna end. And if it doesn't end there, then I think it'll end on. And again, this isn't a spoiler. I think it'll end on the Bug Planet, because that feels like a pretty big cliffhanger type thing. So I don't know if the big fight will be like the mid-season finale, or if it'll be like the actual season finale. Because like the Bug Planet feels like a season finale type cliffhanger. You know what I'm talking about, because I know you only read the the synopsis of what happens, but you know what I'm talking about when I say the Bug
Planet. I was gonna bring up Invincible later, but I've read a synopsis and it made me, because I didn't plan on watching it because I'm not into super dark superhero shows, but then I was like,
it's not super dark. That's the like.
Then I read hold up. And then I read the synopsis. I was like, okay, it's still pretty dark, but it's not as dark as The Boys. It's nowhere near as dark as The Boys.
I was nowhere near. Yeah.
It still keeps itself far more lighthearted than The Boys does. The Boys is more characters, and The Boys are insane and just horrible people.
I feel like the only good characters in The Boys are Huey and Starlight. Like those are the only like 2 like genuinely good characters. Like everybody else
is just horrible. You at least got a decent amount of actually good people.
Like I can really only even the villains in Invincible,
even the villains have their reasons for being bad, and it's really not their fault. It's like how racism is a thing that was taught. You're not born racist. It's like they were born into horrible circumstances, and if they were born any differently, things would be different. So yeah, it's not as dark as The Boys, but it's still darker than most things. Superhero things.
I don't even think it's really that dark. Like I think like the darkest it gets is like low level Boys, but like at like an average, it's like slightly dark DC.
Yeah,
like as an average, if that was a scale,
it's gorier than dark DC.
Oh no, I mean like, but gore doesn't really equate to like dark storytelling, in my opinion. It's just like it's a thing.
Yeah, gore doesn't.
I mean, like this is definitely like easily the goriest comic I've ever read, and I have read like a lot of The Boys, and this is gorier than The Boys, but it's still nowhere near as dark.
Yeah, but I'll probably read it eventually. I'm probably just gonna subscribe to the Comixology thing, because when you subscribe, you just can read all the issues without having to pay extra. So I'm just gonna pay that. I think it's like $7 or something, and then read all the issues. But yeah, you got anything else?
Been playing No Man's Sky, which we were just talking about like right before the podcast started. Love that game. I love the game so much. I'm building a city. I don't know if the game's like actually gonna let me completely build a city, because I think there might be like a limit to how much you can build in one base. But I really want to build this city because I really like it. I really like the idea. Right now I'm building like a power plant like under the city right now, and it's gonna be awesome when it's done. What other media have I been consuming? Obviously watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Love that show. That's like my favorite MCU content currently. Is oh my god, it's so good. And then I honestly I think that's about it really, because
Yes.
I've just been like not doing anything.
So for me, I watched Doctor Strange like about like a week ago. I think that was my second time watching it, maybe third, and it's good. I like that movie. It's really good. The theme song's great because I think that's what made me want to watch the movie. I forget why I was watching some video, or I was watching somebody play the Spider-Man game, and they had stumbled upon the Sanctorum in the game, and then as soon as they got to it, like their editor had played the Doctor Strange theme song, and I was like, man, that theme song's good. I'm gonna watch Doctor Strange now. So I
That's one of
immediately
my favorite MCU movies. This is real good.
I finished that YouTube video and then immediately started watching Doctor Strange. That movie is really good. I'm so excited for the second movie. That is the movie I'm most excited for of all the MCU movies coming out in this next phase. Saw Godzilla vs. Kong. We're going to talk more about that later. Watched Under the Red Hood.
I did see Godzilla vs. King Kong. And
Under the Red Hood for the first time. And
you've never seen it?
I'd never seen it. I watched it for the first time. It's really good. Because people always said that it was up there with like Mask of the Phantasm. And I was like, is it really though? And then I watched it and I was like, it's up there. It's pretty good. I still like Mask of the Phantasm more, but it's really good. It's a good movie. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, Falcon and Winter Soldier, of course, we're going to talk about that later. I've been watching Barry on HBO Max. It's a show about a hitman. It's pretty good. It's really good. Despite the fact that I say it's about a hitman, it's a dramatic comedy. It's mostly comedy, but it's a lot of drama as well. Like it can get kind of serious when like unexpectedly serious, despite how comedic it tends to be. It's a really good show. Like the first episode I was on, and then as soon as I got to like the second episode, it started getting better and better. And each episode it just got better and better. And I was like, wow, this show is really good. Jujutsu Kaisen ended. The first season ended. I finished up the first season, immediately jumped into the manga and caught up. I'm like, it's like 144 chapters. I started at like chapter 40 something, I think, or 60 something. It might have been. It's somewhere between 40 and 60 is where I started after the anime ended, and then got up to 144. It's dope. It's pretty good so far. It feels like a combination of like the big three, like Naruto, not less One Piece, but more like Naruto and Bleach combined. It's pretty good. Attack on Titan, the manga ended a couple days ago. I read the last chapter like as soon as it dropped. Like it was like 1 a.m, and I had read it. Admittedly, it doesn't ruin the entire show for me because it's only one chapter. But the last chapter was disappointing, honestly. And it felt like this show was built on tons of what's the word? I can't even think. It was just built on making the viewers use their brain.
Okay.
The last chapter, or more or less use your brain and more just come up with your own opinions because everything's so gray. Whereas the last chapter made it feel like it was trying to just tell you how you should feel, when the rest of the show was built on making you have to kind of decide how you feel about things because everything's so morally gray. So it felt really weird that it felt rushed because it was so direct, where the rest of the show is built on foreshadowing and secrets and twists and things like that, for the last chapter to just give it all to you straight. And it was something that anybody could have inferred. And if he kept it ambiguous, the discussion would have been great because people would have been talking about what if it was this, what if it was that. But now he just straight up told us what it was. And I was just like, that sucks. You could have just kept it a secret like you did with literally everything else in the show. So
I was like, why come to anime though? I mean, actually, I've been looking for a reason to, or not a reason to get into it, but I've been wanting to get into Jujutsu Kaisen. And then I heard that it was ending, and I was like, oh, well, this is like the first anime I was excited to get into in a long time. And then I found out the first season.
I was talking about Attack on Titan when I was talking about that last part.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jujutsu Kaisen manga, bro.
Attack on Titan manga ended. Jujutsu Kaisen is still going strong. It still has a lot of time left before it ends.
Okay.
Or maybe not actually. Where I left off seems like it might be around like the last arc of the show. So maybe it will be ending soon. A lot of
I hope not, because this is like the first anime that I've been wanting to actually get into in a while. Because I'm not a big anime fan, so
yeah, a lot of the most recent anime that have been getting really good are ending far sooner than a lot of older anime that stretch themselves way too far and go on farther than they need to, like Naruto and Dragon Ball.
I was just on Netflix this morning, and Naruto's always in my like watch again because I always love watching Naruto, and it said 9 seasons, and I was like, wait a minute, what are you talking about 9 seasons? Because this show literally is only listed as having 5 seasons. This show is listed as having 5 seasons like a year and a half ago, and every time I go on Google, it only says 5 seasons. Deshaun, 4 more seasons of filler were added on. I didn't even know these episodes existed. And you know how big of a Naruto fan I am. I've seen almost every filler episode. I didn't even know they have 4 seasons of filler, just filler.
Naruto actually has some pretty good filler. I haven't watched most of it, but
Naruto has great filler. And like what I feel like more anime should do that Naruto did with its filler is it expanded the world.
Yeah.
But like a lot of other anime, they just like.
But I don't even care if it expands the world. I don't want to watch filler. I just I don't care for filler.
That's true.
But yeah, moving on to current events. DMX passed away at age 50.
Yeah.
That was sad. Definitely grew up listening to a lot of DMX. Especially because I watch a lot of Jet Li films, and then like every Jet Li movie, they play DMX. Because I have a feeling Jet Li just likes DMX music. and DMX and Jet Li have been in movies together, several.
A lot of movies. Yeah.
That's where most of my DMX listening have come from. And then after that first trailer for Deadpool released, I was listening to a lot of DMX.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it's sad to see him go, especially he's so young. He was only 50. JoJo Part 6 was announced, which I'm excited for. I love JoJo. I already started reading Part 6, but I stopped reading it and started reading, I think, Berserk. I'm trying to hold off on reading it, but
wait a second, hold on.
Too excited to start reading it.
If you can read Berserk, you can read Invincible, bro. Invincible's nowhere near as dark as Berserk. You can read Invincible. Look.
The difference is that Berserk is not similar to Superman, and anything similar to like characters that I grew up with, but them being dark bothers me. And it makes it hard to watch for me because I don't like to see those characters be so dark. That's why I don't like The Boys, because it's like me seeing the Justice League just murder people, and I don't like it. So that's why stuff like that is hard for me to watch. But anyway, moving on. Mortal Kombat movie was pushed back a week to April 23rd. That sucks, but they did it because of Kong versus Godzilla being popular, and they want to hold on to that and make more money from it, so they push Mortal Kombat back, and that sucks. Like, you wouldn't make money either way. Like, I'm mad that it's not coming out next week. I was so excited to watch it, and now I gotta wait an extra week. Batman the Long Halloween trailer Part 1 was the person who voiced Red Hood, Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles, I'm so happy because I've been wanting Jensen Ackles to play Batman in some sort of way.
He sounds good. I'm not the biggest fan of the new art style of the new animated universe they're creating.
I honestly, I really do like it. I like it a lot.
I really don't. I don't like the art style that they're going for. They used it for the first Superman one, the Flash one that's about to come out soon, and now they're using it for Batman.
I'm also excited for that Flash movie. Flash movie looks like it.
Flash one looks interesting. A pitch for Days Gone 2 got denied. Some people say that it was because that same studio gave another pitch and Sony liked the other pitch more, so they was like, no, Days Gone 2, make this instead. That's not, so there is a chance they could still make another Days Gone 2 like after they finish their next project. But we'll see. People on the internet are already like, come on now. Like, we get it, the game didn't do well, but people like enjoyed it. And it had a great premise. I just felt like the PS4 wasn't built to handle it. And that a game like that, but on PS5, it would probably be able to handle it much better. Plus, I think they're also putting a lot of PlayStation exclusives are also moving to PC as well. So Days Gone,
because getting a PC soon.
Yeah, Days Gone sequel could definitely work much better than the first one. Black Widow newest trailer, it's giving me a lot of Winter Soldier vibes, which is making me excited for it again, because Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, and anything like Winter Soldier is great to me. So I'm excited for it. It's definitely going to be the first movie I see in theaters. I think we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
Lastly, Space Jam 2 New Legacy, they released a trailer. It looks like Ready Player One, but for WD. Except that
which has gotten a lot of mixed reaction amongst my friends personally. I don't know about like your friends or something, anything, but like mine aren't really too excited about that.
Yeah, my friends like it. Was it like a lot of them like basketball, and they like a lot of those characters. But also it's just like I think the reason it's getting people is getting like kind of mixed reactions from your friends is probably because they're thinking it's gonna be like Ready Player One, but in reality, all of those characters are literally just gonna be spectators. They aren't gonna play a role in the story.
No, they know that. They're fully aware that they just didn't like Ready Player One. Personally, I don't care about Space Jam like at all.
Ready Player One was not bad. I don't understand why people don't like it so much. It was.
I don't either. It wasn't a bad movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
It was
a fun movie.
It was a fun movie. I don't think it needed to be like a narrative masterpiece. Like it was
right. It's a movie about video game, like you going into a video game.
Yes, it was literally a movie about VR. Like I don't think it needed to be a narrative masterpiece. It was a really fun movie. Like I don't understand why people hate it so much. But yeah, it looks good. Moving on to animation, Yasuke, a trailer released. It's being animated by MAPPA, the people who do Jujutsu Kaisen. They did Dorohedoro. They're currently doing Attack on Titan and a bunch of other projects. Too many projects, really, and we'll get to that later. But actually, no, we're not. I'm gonna talk about it now. Because I was thinking we were gonna talk about Attack on Titan later. And I was like, no, we're not. Essentially, MAPPA are overextending themselves and working on too many projects and pushing their animators far too hard, and it's horrible. But yeah, Lakeith Stanfield is playing Yasuke, and I don't like it. I don't think he sounds very good at all. He sounds very flat, and his delivery is not the best in this from that trailer, and I'm kind of afraid. I'm gonna watch it in English, and if it's not good, I'm straight switching to Japanese because
I always watch my anime in English. I don't have a problem with most English dub, honestly.
I don't either. For me, it's just a matter of the reason I watch most of my anime in Japanese is because
watch most manga in Japanese.
I said anime. I did not say manga.
You said manga. You said the reason you watch most manga in Japanese. Bro. I heard it.
I definitely said
play it back, bro.
When I'm editing this, I know I definitely said anime. The reason I watch most of my anime in Japanese, but anyway. So the reason I watch most anime in Japanese is because they aren't simul dubbed, which means they aren't dubbed in English at the same time they're done in Japanese. So if I want to keep up with it, I just have to watch it in Japanese. So yeah, it's being executive produced by a Black artist I've been following IG for a while named LaShawn Thomas. He drew a manga that got animated and put onto Netflix called Cannon Busters. That was pretty good. He also worked.
Oh, he did Cannon Busters. Okay.
Yeah, he also worked on Legend of Korra, Boondocks, Black Dynamite, and Ben 10 Alien Force. So
I need to finish Black Dynamite.
He's been doing pretty good. Bad Batch trailer. I was not excited for the Bad Batch until I was gonna watch it, of course, because of Star Wars. But this trailer made me excited as hell.
I've been excited since the first trailer.
The trailer was so good. It made me so excited. I mean, because what makes me excited is because it's clearly going to dive into like what happens to the clones after Order 66. Like what happened to the clones specifically? Like we hear what happens, but we never see it, and that's going to be cool to see. And also, there's this this clone that looks kind of androgynous and has paler skin.
We actually don't know whether or not it's a clone. People are assuming it's a clone, but it's never been confirmed. Or it's never been confirmed.
I feel like it's definitely going to be a clone.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a clone, but at the same time, I don't really know. It could just be a regular human.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that Crosshair likely would become a traitor or something like that, based on certain things that happen in the trailer. Like he's not there for a big part of it, and it looks like he is like wearing clone armor. Like he has like the same symbols that are on his helmet on a clone helmet. So yeah, that might be a thing as well. So yeah,
that would be interesting.
So moving comics, we already talked about Invincible a little bit. I just want to talk about this is gonna be really short. I'm talk about King in Black.
Oh god.
I haven't read it, but I just watched a video about the final issue and it looks pretty good. I might watch some other videos and then if it's good, I might read it. But it looks cool. But do you care if I spoil the final issue?
I read it. It was
okay. So in the final issue, like Venom took the Silver Surfer's board and Mjolnir, Thor's hammer, and combined them and made this axe that was in the shape of his Venom. It looked cool. It would look really cool. And I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but it looks cool as hell. It's ridiculous, but it was cool. I'm gonna have to.
The best thing to come out of King and Black was the Miles Morales tie-in. The Miles Morales tie-in was dope, but no,
Yeah,
the event itself was just so bad. Oh my god, the event! But this also comes from someone who never liked Venom. But like, even as someone that doesn't like Venom, just narratively, what were they smoking in that room when they were writing, bro? I don't understand why.
it
Oh
is.
my god, they were like giant like symbiote dragons, but then like they weren't actually like symbiote dragons. They were like dragons that were like taken over by symbiote, but like they weren't. And I'm like, they can't make up their minds on the dragon, on like what the dragons are made out of. And then oh my god, I don't understand why people like it. I really don't. I mean, like if you like it, you like it, but I don't get it.
I was looking at my notes and I'm like, I hope we have enough to go at least an hour 20, but it looks like we might not. We might have to improvise a little bit later on. But me and you, if we want to go on a tangent, we can go on a tangent. So
we go on a tangent almost every episode. That's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, so if we can definitely push this an extra 20 minutes if we need to. But let's talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is definitely going to be a good like 10-minute conversation, probably more.
I was gonna say maybe longer, yeah.
This is gonna be, we're definitely gonna, because there are only 2 episodes left, we're definitely gonna have a full season review, in a couple weeks. But as of now, we're just gonna talk about the latest 5 episodes. So I mean 4. So Falcon and Winter Soldier. Episode 3 was directed by the writer for John Wick, Derek Kolstad. And you can tell just based on the way the episode looked, it looked like John Wick 3 with all the colors and the city. It looked like
it did.
And it makes sense for a John Wick director to direct that episode of this show that is about 2 characters that are very similar to John Wick in the way that they fight. But yeah, Madripoor was some good world building by the writers. I was really interested in Madripoor, even if it was only for 1 episode. Madripoor, and it's set up to be used in other shows and movies. Mm-hmm. So it'll be cool to see Madripoor return in the future. People are weirded out about Sharon's change over like the last 4 years after the blip. And
it's like 5 years at this point.
Yeah, this is the wildest theory I have for this show, because this show isn't as,
WandaVision.
The theories like WandaVision, but is that she might be undercover or something like that, and that she might be faking it. Like that's not beyond the realm of possibility. She was literally like
she is Agent 13.
Yeah, her introduction was being a spying on Captain America in his apartment building.
Right. She was literally his next door neighbor. I mean, in the comics, she is like the super spy, like she's right behind Black Widow as like Marvel's super spy, like Marvel's best super spy. So
yeah. And they officially made Zemo a Baron. They made him Baron Zemo. And
I was very happy about that. Okay.
Falcon was like,
can I go on the tangent yet?
Hold up. Falcon was like, you've been rich this whole time, and he was like,
he was like, my family was royalty before your friends destroyed my home. And I was like, dang.
Oh, another theory that people are saying is that Sokovia might become Liberia, because he said that people like took it over, and that and people are like, what if it became Liberia? And I was like, that could be interesting.
I don't think that'll happen. I mean, if it does happen, then cool, but I don't think that's gonna happen, honestly.
For people who don't know, Liberia is basically Dr. Doom's country.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I have a couple of reservations about that. Okay. Episode 3 is probably my favorite bit of MCU content to date. Like, it literally was just like, it was so fun. Like, it was just so fun. It was like, it felt like the setup to like a weird, like sick joke.
I just looked at what you sent me.
Oh, the meme, it said Turkish delight, irresistible.
That's hilarious.
It felt like, it really did feel like this, like the setup to like a sick joke, because it's like a super spy, like an old terrorist who's actually royalty, like a secret assassin and a soldier just like walk into a bar, and like that's literally what the episode was. It's just like they walk into a nightclub. It definitely feels like an action comedy movie, even if it had nothing to do with Marvel. It just feels like it feels like an action comedy, and I love it. I love it so much. Episode 3 is probably my favorite bit of MCU content ever. Madripoor in the comics is one of my favorite locations in the Marvel universe. I really hope they bring it to Marvel's Avengers. Like I really do hope that winds up becoming a location in that game. That'd be awesome. And one thing that I wish they kept from the comics, I mean, like it kind of felt Madripoor in this didn't feel so much like a country run by criminals as much as it felt just more like, you remember like the nightclub scene or the casino scene in Black Panther where like they go through the back of the fish market and then they're in like the underground casino.
Yeah.
That's what Madripoor more felt like to me rather than like an actual country run by criminals. And I kind of wish they kept the country run by criminals thing, because in the comics, Madripoor is literally like how Marvel's New York City is like New York, but like full of heroes and light and stuff like that. Madripoor is like New York City, but like the like dark, like if someone said like dark New York City.
I think they gave that feel though. It's kind of like, I don't know if they filmed there because it definitely looks like they did. It's like Hong Kong. It's a city that's technically.
It does look like Hong Kong a little bit.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like a city. I don't know. And they'll probably expand on that in more MCU content, but it just felt very small to me. Like it felt like a collection of city blocks rather than like
it's supposed to, yeah, I think they're doing it like it's supposed to be like Hong Kong. It's a city, but it's technically like its own thing. Like, or you know, Hong Kong's complicated, but you know what I mean. It's like the history of Hong Kong is very complicated, but it's meant to be like it's a city isolated. I mean, a country isolated in this large city.
Yeah, I really hope that it's like, I really want them to expand on it because I love Madripoor, but I did like Madripoor in the MCU too. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, this way more I have to say about the show, and we're definitely going to talk about it. But before we get there, I wanted to say that my biggest criticism of the show is that there are two things. One is that I feel like they let Anthony Mackie improvise a little bit too much, and you can tell.
No, I love it,
and I can tell when he's improvising because I watch a lot of interviews, and to me, it leads to some weird lines, some really janky lines, and I'm like, you maybe you shouldn't have let him improvise right there. Like if he did it every now and again, it would have been cool. But he's doing it a lot. He did it the least in the recent episode. And because of that, there were a lot of really good interactions in it. But I felt like he improvised. He was improvising a bit much. And also, unlike WandaVision, which was, it was very unique because they were trying to make it fit that well. Actually, because they had to make it fit a serial format, they took advantage of that to make it unique. Whereas I feel like it's a hindrance to Falcon and the Winter Soldier because it feels like a movie that's being forced to be a show. Rather than
I disagree. I really
the movie being forced to be a show because the pacing is a little off and it drags in some areas where it doesn't need to. And I'm like, this like 5 minutes was unnecessary. You could have cut that. Somebody I was talking to mentioned that it's like a movie where they keep all the deleted scenes. It's like a movie and all the deleted scenes aren't deleted. They're just in the movie. And that's what it kind of, to me, the pacing is a little off.
I gotta disagree with that a little bit. I love Anthony Mackie's improvisation. It makes Falcon feel more like a real character to me instead of just like. But honestly, at the same time, after watching like maybe 3 or 4 hours of Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan interviews, this show is literally just like Marvel put them both in a costume and just said pretend like you're superheroes. Like this is like literally like what they're like in real life. Like this is literally them. They're just like, I don't even want to say they're acting. They're just literally, I don't even know how to describe it. They literally just put them in costumes and said, pretend to be superheroes for like an hour. But I love Anthony Mackie's improvisation. It makes Falcon feel more like a real character, in my opinion, where in the MCU, it felt like he was sorely lacking, not just like a story, but also like a personality and motivations. But I feel like this really gives that to him. It gives him like a sense of urgency and a sense of it makes him feel real. I also disagree with the pacing. Honestly, I feel like it's a little too fast-paced at times. I feel like sometimes it really does need to slow down and go a little bit longer. Hopefully this next episode is supposed to be 61 minutes long, so hopefully this one really gives us like
I think it should have only been 4 episodes. I think that and at that point, I think it should have just been a movie. If I'm being real, I think this should have been a movie. I don't think this needed to be a show. Of all of the Marvel stuff that's being made into shows, I think that this is the one that didn't need to be a show. I think this one could have just been a movie, and it would have been.
I disagree, honestly. I think WandaVision could have been a movie.
This could have. No, I don't think WandaVision could have been a movie because what they were trying to do could not have worked in a movie format because they were trying to take TV show tropes and put them into each episode. You can't do that in a movie.
Oh no, I definitely get that, but a lot of the episodes were very unnecessary and then could have been cut down, and then that just could have made it into just a movie. Like I think Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier is more like a movie than WandaVision was, and I was like, this should have just been a 2 hour. This should have just been a 2 hour, 30-minute movie. Like I feel like this didn't need to be a show. It could have just been a long movie. Like
no, this definitely needs to be a show. And I'm glad. I'm sad it's only going to be one season. Like it's literally just a 6-episode event, and I'm sad that it's going to be.
I'm not because clearly they end up making a Captain America movie with Falcon as the main character.
Yeah, but like I don't just want like a Captain America movie with Falcon as the main character. I want them both to be like the main characters of the movie, and I want them to like share the screen.
It's probably gonna be called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Or Captain America and the White Wolf if he changed his name or something.
I really hope he doesn't change his name. That's like the stupidest.
It is. But I can see why he wouldn't want to keep the Winter Soldier.
Because you came out of Wakanda, White Panther. He says White Wolf. He said, wait, what? That was the funniest scene. My criticism comes from the amount of just like close up, like over like the forehead shots where it's just like the camera angle is like right here. I'm like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this to convey a sense of drama. This is an action comedy. You don't need to do like this super like dramatic art house style like right on your forehead shots.
They do that with Walker a lot. They zoom in on his face.
Yes, I'm like, you don't need it. Like you really do not need this at all. Like just take it out. They did it so much in the first episode. It took me out every time because I'm like, what is the point? Like you
My
don't
favorite
need
part of episode 4 was they gave both Walker and Carly so much more character in this episode because I feel like it was weird for them. I feel like they should have just stayed Robin Hoods and shouldn't have went the pilot route. I was like, come on now. That's so cliche. I was like, I feel like them being misunderstood and still trying to do good, but technically doing illegal things was fine. But then her going, you know what, let's start killing people was a step too far. I was like, no, you don't need to kill people. Just steal the stuff and get away. Killing people is unnecessary. But I see what they're going for. And I feel like she's definitely gonna die.
She's probably gonna die. I'm fine with that. I just really hope they don't kill Walker. I really hope they don't.
That's the thing. I feel like they're definitely not gonna kill Walker. I feel like they're building him up to stay and obviously become U.S. agent. And like
I hope like that's what I want to see. I want to see him become U.S. agent. Because he's a really good anti-hero in the comics. Like he's like strongly conservative and stands against everything I do, but I really love him as a character in the comics. Like he's just like, oh. And nobody likes him. Like literally nobody in the superhero community likes him. His handlers in S.H.I.E.L.D. don't like him. None of the other superheroes around him like him. Nobody likes him, and he just doesn't care.
Sounds like Guy Gardner.
He is like Guy Gardner.
But yeah,
but worse because at least Guy Gardner's a good person. Like,
yeah,
John Walker's just like an actual like horrible human being.
Yeah, and this they're making it to where he's a person with good intentions, but he's just kind of he's cracking under the pressure. And he also he clearly has some mental problems from stuff that happened in the war. And he definitely they definitely just took this veteran who needed to spend the rest of his life normally and forced him to become a soldier again. And the stress is just messing with him. And the end of that last episode was great. Oh, it was fantastic.
I think he took the super soldier serum before he became Captain America.
You think? You think they made it?
But like everyone's like, oh, he's not a super soldier yet. Oh, he's not a super. I'm like, no, I'm like 100% positive. Like that's like with the rapid hair growth and with him like being more emotionally unstable and like the way he throws the shield too hard, he broke that concrete like it was nothing. I'm like, no, he's nowhere. There's no way he's a normal human.
They made it obvious he took the super soldier serum because he was.
That's what I'm saying, but I keep seeing people like, oh, he's not a super soldier. No, he's a super soldier. He is literally a super soldier.
Like in the last episode, he literally took the serum. You could tell he did. He bit a pipe. That was the point. They literally did that on purpose to show you. Like when he threw the shield, it was like, okay, maybe he could have thrown it through the wall. And then when he kicked the dude, you're like, okay, maybe he could have fell down the steps. But then when he bent the pipe, you're like, okay, now definitely he took.
That's a super soldier.
Nobody's just bending a pipe as a normal human being with an average body. It's just bending a pipe. Wyatt Russell is also doing a great job.
He is. People are sending death threats to the actor.
Yeah, people are ridiculous. This dude is doing.
Like, this isn't even an ongoing show. This is done. Like he's done with the role right now. Like what is?
I don't think he's done with the role.
Well, he's not done with the role, but I mean, like you're sending threats about something that's already been filmed and is just now airing. Like this finished production like a couple months ago. Like there's no reason to. He's done. Like.
Yeah, hopefully, like, not obviously people shouldn't be doing that, but hopefully he's okay because, he has a famous father. He has a famous father, so he's probably a little bit more used to it than some celebrities are. So he's probably weathering it pretty well. But that's ridiculous, and people need to stop. Like he's playing a character. People just for whatever reason can't separate fiction from reality. Like, dude, this is an actor playing a character. He isn't actually this person. He isn't Walker. That isn't him. I also wanted to have a discussion about talk about the discussion that Sam and Buggy was having, and even Carly and Sam started having a debate, and Carly was having with the guy that Walker killed at the end of the episode about the shield and what it represents.
Kind of just spoiled that, but we're gonna.
And no, I said that this was gonna be spoiler. I've been said.
Oh,
that.
You did? Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about that discussion about how Sam's like it should have been destroyed, and Bucky's like. And Buggy's like, no, it's a symbol and it's helped people. And he's like, and Sam's just like, I don't care, it doesn't matter. We could in the first episode, he said the world needs new symbols, and that we don't need the shield, and the shield should be in a museum, and that we should make a new symbol. And I agree with that, but I actually agree with that. I was like, yeah, the shield should be destroyed. We can make new symbols, but it's also like if the shield's destroyed, they're probably just gonna make a new shield and then gonna still try and make a new symbol for the country. Like either way, they're gonna try to make a new symbol. So it's better for a good person like Sam to take up the symbol than for it to be destroyed and for them to just make a new one and have somebody else take up the mantle. Because that's literally just what's gonna happen. They could destroy the shield how many times they want. They're still just going to find a new person and make them a new Captain America, or just change his name and make him something new. They're going to keep trying to make this symbol of America and what it should be. So at that point, Sam should just take it, because either way, Captain America is going to exist whether they want him to or not. So somebody who is worthy of the shield, of the mantle, and could hold it with pride and actually represent the things that Steve represented should exist. And I think that's what they're leaning towards in the show. It's like, yeah, it is a good point that there should be new heroes, but if you don't do this, somebody else will.
I don't think even the new heroes really need to come at the cost of an old one either. I'm just like, I understand where Sam is coming from. I definitely agree that new symbols need to be made, but Captain America is a timeless. What he represents is like, especially now more than ever, really needed.
Especially a Black man being Captain America.
Exactly. And like that's needed now more than ever. So I'm like, I see where he's coming from. I disagree on this specific point. I think that he should have stepped into the role. And I understand his hesitation too.
It's gonna be so dope when we actually see him hold that shield. And he has
I have a theory.
The full Captain America costume on. It's gonna be fantastic.
I have a theory that he and Bucky are going to share the mantle.
I also was thinking that as well.
Because like Bucky's lying about him becoming Captain America since Sam won't do it, but we already have seen there's been like leaked concept art and leaked toys of Sam in the Captain America outfit for this show, and I'm like, they're going to share the mantle. Like there's no way they're just going to let it go.
Here's the thing. I feel like they're going to share the shield, but not the mantle, because I don't think that having Bucky be representative of America is a good idea. I just think he doesn't.
It's definitely not.
He doesn't hold those ideals because of all the things. The one, he doesn't want to do it because
he doesn't want to do it at all. Yeah,
he's aware.
He's only doing it because Sam won't do it, and he thinks
if Sam won't do it, he'll take the shield. But I also don't. I think people are taking that line the wrong way. I don't think he's saying he'll take up the shield. I think he's just saying he'll just take it. Like he doesn't want.
He's gonna go home.
If Sam doesn't have it, he'll just take it and hang it up on his wall. Like he doesn't want anybody else to be Captain America other than the person that his friend chose, which is Sam. And
I still think they're gonna share. I really do think they're gonna share the mantle.
Like I said, I think they're gonna share the shield, but not the mantle. Like he's gonna be he's probably gonna be like the undercover version of Captain America, while Sam is the face. Like behind the scenes, he'll be Captain America doing like espionage stuff. But
I mean, that's still kind of sharing the mantle. Like that's still sharing the mantle. But that's also a really cool idea, though. I do really.
I mean, literally sharing the shield to fight with. Like I don't think he's gonna take up the mantle in any shape or form.
I'm almost positive he's gonna take the mantle, especially because it would like quiet the Bucky should have been Captain America crowd, which I also don't get that argument. Like I understand comic accuracy, but it's certain things from the comics just weren't.
Yeah, good. And it's obvious why he shouldn't be Captain America. They make it clear. It's like this dude's damaged. He also was an assassin, and it's publicly known he was an assassin. Like files got leaked in Winter Soldier. Like
Nat literally released the files.
This is common knowledge. His face, like literally, they say it several times. Like you too, you're Avengers. People know your face. People know who he is.
Yeah,
by face. They know who he is. He can't hide himself. If he picks up that shield, it's like, why is this assassin who murdered King T'Chaka? They probably buried that. They probably buried some of the things he's done, but some of the other things he's done is like public knowledge. They're like, this man is an assassin. Why is he Captain America? You can't do that. And even Steve,
I know for a fact
Steve was aware that he just didn't want to do it anymore. He was like, Bucky doesn't want to do this anymore. I'm going to give it to Sam, who is the perfect candidate. He represents the same things I do, while at the same time, he's a black man who could represent things that Captain America never could as a white man. So like Sam is the ideal candidate. He represents Captain America. He represents everything Steve does and more.
Yeah.
By virtue of being
it's just like, even looking at it from a comic standpoint, Bucky wasn't a good Cap in the comics. Like he was just not, he was not a good Cap. He lost the shield multiple times. What?
I say his suit was cool though.
Suit was pretty cool. My favorite Captain America suit is still Sam's Captain America suit. That suit is just pretty cool. Yeah,
I love the way he fights with the wings. Sam is.
I do too. Yeah.
I like it. I love that. Like MCU was making me like a lot of characters that I didn't really care for before the MCU, like Falcon. I love Falcon now. I like Vision a lot more than I used to. I've always been kind of to Wanda, but I'm more.
I never liked Wanda, and I like her even less after the MCU. I'm not gonna lie, I do. Like that's just it. But I definitely like Falcon a lot more, and I like Falcon in the comics, but I think I like Falcon in the MCU more, which is just like such a weird thing for me of all people to say. But Falcon in the comics is not a funny character. Like he's more like ironic comedy in the comics than anything, but he's still not a funny character. He's not super serious all the time, but he's not. He feels like a little bit of a different version of Steve, just personality-wise. But in the MCU, he's Anthony Mackie in a bird costume, and I really like that. Like he's funny in the MCU. I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. That pain of week to week waiting, just be there.
Yes, I'm just like I watch Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier every Friday. But after I'm done with the episodes, I'm like, now I gotta wait another week. I gotta go through another week of just dealing with school and all work and all this other stuff just to watch this again. Like, are you serious? But
yeah. So let's talk about Godzilla vs. Kong. Obviously, spoiler alert, we're gonna spoil the mess out of this movie. Obviously, Godzilla won because he's Godzilla and he can shoot fire.
I've been saying that. You heard me say, I said repeatedly, I'm like, there's no way King Kong's gonna win. And that's another thing. That when I was like, kind of spoiling, and you were like, no, don't spoil the movie. I was like, but the director said, you were like, no, don't do it. So now I can finally tell you, the director said on Twitter, someone was like, oh, why does Kong have the axe? And the director is like, well, we had to give him something to make the fight seem fair. I'm like, so the director basically just said that Godzilla wins on Twitter.
Yeah, I knew that from the beginning. I was like, oh, he has an axe. Now he has a chance. Because I was like,
it's like he wasn't going to win without it.
For me, it was like, I like Kong as a character more than Godzilla. I like them both, but I just like Kong more. And I was like, I don't know if he's gonna win, but I would like it if he did. Of course, I would
I like Godzilla a lot more.
But
And it's not that I dislike Kong. I just really, really like Godzilla.
yeah, the reason I like
Godzilla's
Kong more is because I just like Skull Island. I like it of all of those movies. It also made the most money out of all of those movies. And
until Godzilla versus Kong.
I just like I feel like the biggest reason I like Skull Island the most out of all those movies because the human element in Skull Island is far more interesting than any of the other monster movies in that universe.
Oh yeah, the human element, the MonsterVerse is just like.
Yeah, but in Skull Island, all of those characters were interesting. Tom Hiddleston, Brie Larson, especially Sam Wilson. I mean Sam Jackson. Why did I say Wilson? I was thinking about Falcon. But Sam Jackson, of course, was great. But yeah, I like that moment when Godzilla stepped on Kong's chest and yelled in his face. And
yeah,
Kong was like, he yelled back. He was like, "Look, man, you won, but I ain't no bitch." I'm gonna cut that out. But like,
I was gonna say you're gonna have to cut that one out. But
he's like, "You won, but like, I ain't no punk."
But Godzilla, and people were like, "Oh,
Godzilla was a bully. Kong ain't do nothing to that man. Kong just wanted to go home."
Yeah, I was gonna say people were like, Kong just wanted to go home, but Godzilla
was like, "Nah, man, run the fade. It's on site, my man. We fighting."
There was a meme. I don't think I sent it to you, but it was like King Kong breed and Godzilla said, you said I was you said I was a punk or something like that. I was like, yo.
All he did was breathe. Godzilla was at that man's throat the whole movie for no reason. This man Kong literally went to the center of the earth, as far away from Godzilla as he could possibly be. And
Godzilla drilled down to the center of the earth with his atomic.
He said, "Nah, I know you down there. Get up here. We fighting again. Because I thought it was over, but you got back up. We fighting again." No, this man was a bully. Like, I feel like
there were 3 rounds in the movie.
I feel like Godzilla occasionally just goes and beats up Rodan just to let him know that he's the king. He's like, yeah, you know what it is.
Just randomly just comes back, be like, "Oh no, you look like you forgot."
He just occasionally goes and slaps a skull crawler just to let them know. But yeah,
no, it was there were 3 rounds in the movie. Kong won the second round technically, and he only did it because of the axe, and then he lost the axe. And Godzilla just went back in and beat him so bad.
Yeah,
I was like, bro, people really thought Kong was gonna win, really?
Mechagodzilla put the hands on both of them though. He smashed.
He did. I don't understand why suddenly like Godzilla and King Kong both were able to beat Mechagodzilla, because like Mechagodzilla was stomping Godzilla and Godzilla was stomping Kong, but all of a sudden now that Kong joined the fight, like what?
I mean, literally their excuse was that they spilled like liquor onto the like thing, and it caused him to like delay for like 5 seconds, which gave Godzilla the opportunity to like heat up the axe so that Kong could cut him up. Otherwise, Kong was about to die.
Oh yeah, they would have been dead.
It was that few seconds of like stuttering that the machine did that made them won. Otherwise, they would have lost. But he was beating the brakes off Godzilla. It was horrible. Like that scene where it was like inside of the building and showing Mechagodzilla smashing his head into the other 2 buildings and inside of the building that the camera was in was dope.
Yeah, that was a dope shot.
It was a fun movie. The movie was fun as hell. Something someone mentioned, an artist I follow named Koteri Inc. on Instagram said was that he gave it a 5 out of 5 because he hates the human part. And he said it would have been far more interesting if the human element was in a world where society evolved knowing that kaiju exist. And was kind of like a little bit like Attack on Titan, except that, you know, everybody knows that they exist and like they're inside walls, and that the smaller monsters, like the monsters in Skull Island and like the monsters that were in the center of the earth, were roaming the world. And that they had to protect themselves from those monsters. And that's part of what makes Skull Island far more interesting when it comes to the human element, is because they had to deal with the other smaller monsters, as well as the characters themselves as being interesting. And I agree with them. That would make it a little bit more interesting if it would make the world a bit more unique, except rather than just normal people running around in circles while monsters fight.
I mean, like, my thing is, you don't go to a Godzilla or King Kong movie to see like Scorsese level. Like, it's not an art film. You're not going for like,
that, except that Kong did it pretty good. So like, it doesn't have to be Scorsese, no, but it can be interesting.
I don't even think Kong was really that good of a movie from the human element. Like it was a fun monster movie, but like that's, in my opinion, that's really it. Like it's
The human element
a
was better
monster
than all of
movie.
the other ones, though. That's the thing. It's like, if it could be,
I don't even think it was really that much better than all the other ones. Like
it was.
honestly, I think the first Godzilla movie was like the best one from every standpoint.
That's because it had the
That
most.
still wasn't, but it still wasn't good. Like
It had
it
the
wasn't a
most.
good movie. Like they aren't good. But I'm going to watch giant monsters fight each other. That's like the whole reason I'm going to watch a movie. So like I'm not like all the complaints people have about the movie. I'm just like, you're not you're not going to look at these. You're not going to watch these humans interact and evolve, have their relationships evolve. You're going to watch a giant like 450-foot monster punch the mess out of another.
I get that, but for me, I don't give anyone an excuse to make something bad, because if we do, then they'll just keep doing it. I don't like to give people excuses because it's a big monster movie that gives them excuse to make the human element horrible. I'm just like, no, you don't get excuses from me. If it's bad, do better. I don't like to give people excuses. So
I don't care, like it, but like that doesn't matter to me. Like I just like, yeah, I understand why people complain about it, but it's like I'm not gonna complain about that.
So let's talk about video games. So first things first, next week, Thursday, May 7th at 6 o'clock, there are going to be a Resident Evil 8 showcase, new trailers. And obviously, it's a Resident Evil showcase, not Resident Evil Village. Well, actually, it's called Village Showcase, but they usually show other Resident Evil stuff. So who knows? They might show a little bit from the movie, a little bit from the animated movie that's going to be on Netflix. But mostly we're just there for Resident Evil Village. I'm excited for that. Good old werewolves, vampires, 10 foot tall, sexy vampire lady. It's going to be great. So they're gonna show gameplay. They showed like pictures of, because there was a short little like trailer of like what the event's gonna show, and like there's this whole very different looking area within that trailer that we haven't seen from any other Resident Evil trailers. I'm like, how big is this map gonna be?
I hope it's really big. Like I hope it's a really big.
It's gonna be huge, and I love the way the maps work in Resident Evil games.
Because Resident 7, it was kind of big, but it was literally just like a big house. But like this is like a literal, like it's a village. Like oh my god.
What I was gonna say, they're probably gonna release a demo next week, on PS4, Xbox, and PC, and everywhere but the Switch. So that's I'm excited to play a demo because I want to play this game. I want to get my hands on it and just play it and check it out. That's gonna be excited. Deathloop's coming out. Deathloop is also coming out next month, May 21st. Excited for that.
Wait, what's coming out May 21st?
Deathloop.
Yes, it did get delayed, but yes, I think the new date is May
21st.
Yes.
I low-key, I don't know. I feel like we still haven't got. It's like the same way I feel like Miles Morales. Except I know this is gonna be great, but it's still like I feel like they still haven't showed us a lot.
They haven't showed us a lot, they've only showed us like the most gameplay we've seen was out of the newest PlayStation showcase or whenever that was, like a couple weeks ago. And that was like the most gameplay we saw, and that was still like broken up into chunks. And I'm like, I want like a good like how they did for Dishonored 2 with the Clockwork Mansion. Like they had like a
good 10 minutes of solid just gameplay.
Yeah, solid just gameplay in a area, and I want that. One thing I really want out of Deathloop is for them not to have a karma system, because like don't give me super fun ways to kill everybody and then punish me for using those super fun ways to kill everybody. Like I'm like, no, give me like, let me have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I just was it with Dishonored? It was more of like just lethal, non-lethal, silent type deal. Like because it was
but I mean like if you went in lethal, then you got like a horrible ending. I think Dishonored 2 had like 5 different endings, and they like just ranged from like there was like 1 good ending and then 4 just really bad endings, ranging on how lethal you were. And I'm like, I don't want that.
Deathloop specifically is like you're forced to kill these people within a certain time limit. So I feel like that won't be the case.
I really hope so. I really hope so.
But to kill these people to break the loop.
But at the same time, it like Dishonored kind of framed it in a similar light. Like they said, kill, and then it's only after you start subduing them, they're like, oh no, you can subdue these people too. And I'm like,
and it's like, if you subdue them, what is that going to do? They could just wake up.
But I mean, we know next to nothing about the story either. So like, Like that leads more into them not showing us anything yet. So
yeah.
I'm just too excited for that game.
I'm excited for that game too.
Gotham Knights got pushed back to next year.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Did I forget to add that? I think I talked about that last week. I talked about that last week.
Did you?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
We did talk about it last week. I'm sorry. I'm tired. My brain is all over the place.
But yeah, next just Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is so good. I still haven't played it because I don't have.
I haven't played it either because I don't have a Nintendo Switch.
I watched somebody play through it for like the 100th time.
I'm not watching a playthrough of it because I want to go in as blind as possible.
Like it's just like I've seen so much of it, and I was like, I know when I play it, it's gonna be one of my favorite games ever because it's everything I love and want from a video game in one. Like we talk about it 1,000 times in this podcast, how it gives you a true sense of adventure because when you open a map, there isn't a bunch of icons telling you what to do. There's literally only 4 for the divine beast, and you can cut them off. You can cut them off, and you can cut off the map, and you can cut off everything in the UI except for your health bar, and and you could just explore. Unlike something like a similar game that came out the same year, Assassin's Creed Origins, where you open your map and it is littered with a bunch of stuff to do.
You can turn off most of the stuff.
Oh no, you could definitely cut it off, but in Breath of the Wild, even when you have everything on, there still is barely anything. And it gives you the choice to just do whatever you want. And it's all about going out into an open field and randomly seeing something and going, that looks interesting. Let me go to it and see what it is. Whereas a game like Assassin's Creed is just like, go to this village. There are a bunch of missions in here.
Valhalla actually does that really well. Like I don't know how much longer I have on the story mode because I've been doing nothing but exploring, just like for hours and hours and hours on end. So long as it's not out of my level cap, I just go and explore and literally like whatever looks interesting to me, I just go up to it. And like I spend hours walking around the game. I think like I have over 100 hours of story time on that game, and that's or playtime on the game. And this is just mainly from exploring. And I love games like that. Like I want more games like that because it's so much fun.
Yeah. So last but not least, there's been report of Naughty Dog working on Last of Us Remake.
I did hear that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people talking about how it's good or bad, and the consensus is that the reason most people are upset about it is because it's too early, which I agree with. It's only been 7 years since The Last of Us came out, and the obvious reason that most people are saying they're doing this is likely because of the TV show, and they want to release the remake the same time the TV show comes out, so people who are interested in the TV show can play the video game, for people who never played the game, or obviously even people like me who have played the game. I never played the entirety of the game though. Who have played the game will still purchase it. And for me, I agree that it's unnecessary because it's like maybe like another 7 years from now, of course, like make a remake because at that point the game's old. But and it's worth the remaking because technology will have evolved so much further in another 7 years. But as of now, it's way too early because it still looks good. They remastered it and it still looks good. Like those cutscenes look amazing, despite that game come out in 2013. But despite the fact I think it's unnecessary, I also think that it's harmless if it doesn't affect the production of other games, and we just get a game that's already really good, but with it's a remake, not a remaster. So they're literally taking it's going to be on PS5. It might be, I'm pretty sure it'll be exclusively on PS5 as well. So they're taking the graphics from The Last of Us Part 2, which is gorgeous, with the gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2, which is such a step up from the first game, and putting it into the first game with the same story. And that sounds dope to me, as long as it doesn't affect other games' productions, which so far it doesn't seem like it is. Let's hope it stays that way. If it starts to affect other productions, I'm gonna go, okay, it was definitely unnecessary if it was gonna harm another production, another game production.
Yeah, unless a game harms another game production, I'll never understand the argument of like getting mad that a game is being made because like why? It's another
if it doesn't like first you have a choice on buying it. Like people aren't forcing you to buy it. Right. And if it doesn't hurt anything, then it's it's no harm, no foul. Like it doesn't.
Right. Like, how does this affect you? It doesn't. Okay.
Here's the biggest thing though. It's like I get why people don't like the second game, but Naughty Dog, I feel like this kind of misstep with the second game doesn't nullify Naughty Dog's reputation. It doesn't magically make every other amazing game that they made disappear because of this one story decision they made that people didn't agree with. And I feel like a lot of people are scared of this game because they feel like it's going to get messed up or something, or Naughty Dog's going to ruin The Last of Us. And it's like, bruh.
It's like the story has already been made.
The ones who made it, they made that game and you love that game. And then they made a second game, which is good, by the way. And a lot of people, the whole discussion around that game is ridiculous because one, it's an obvious case of the numbers tell a completely different story from what the vocal minority say on the internet. The consensus mostly is that most people actually like this game. The people who dislike it are very little, but extremely loud, as goes literally anything on the internet. The minority is always louder than the majority because the majority of people don't care enough to go on the Twitter and yell about it.
Right.
And I get why a lot of people don't like it, and I agree with some of it. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty good damn game. And I don't think that this warrants everybody starting to randomly hate Naughty Dog and think that they're the worst company on planet Earth just because this one game made a story decision that you didn't like. Like, what they didn't warrant you to distrust them because the quality of the game like wasn't hurt because of the story decision they made. Like, I meant the physical quality of like the way it looked and the way it played. The story quality, obviously, because people didn't like it, but the actual quality of gameplay and graphics, that's literally all they're adding to the first game. I don't think they're going to make any story changes because they're aware that that game is damn near perfect to most people. So I doubt that they're going to do it. Also, Naughty Dog wasn't the one who started the project. There was another studio, and Naughty Dog didn't say, hey, let's make a Last of Us Remake. Sony did. PlayStation decided that they should make a remake, likely to market the new movie, show on HBO that's going to be, releasing in a year or two. And then Naughty Dog came on and started to work on the production to get it, I think, to essentially get it done faster. So I don't even think Naughty Dog wanted it to happen. I think that PlayStation wanted it to happen, and Naughty Dog just stepped up to help them make it to have, so that it could be done right and so that it could be done faster. The biggest problem with Naughty Dog is that they do have a crunch problem that a lot of studios have, and that is horrible and needs to be fixed. That's if you want to call Naughty Dog out on something, call them out on that. Everything else is perfectly fine, and people are just being ridiculous. That's honestly the last thing I have to talk about. We're at an hour, 3 minutes. I don't know if we should stop here or try to go on a tangent because I don't have anything else. This is it. I honestly thought I had more. I really thought I had more because I always feel like that I don't have enough. And then 2 weeks fly by and I have more than enough. I feel like we should probably just end. And yeah. It feels weird. It feels weird that this podcast is going to be so short, but it is. And we'll probably, what I'm going to do? I'm going to end it, but we're going to continue talking afterwards, likely, like we always do. And I'm going to continue recording, and if it's good, I might just add it to the podcast.
Okay.
So, I'm Dijon Mustard.
I'm Amir.
Ads at the bottom. You got Amir. Ads at the bottom. The Mustard Cat at right below Amir's.
I said I was going to give you a challenge for this week, but I don't remember what the challenge was, so I'm just let this slide.
Yeah, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content. And to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Comment, please. I need your comment. I'll respond to your comment. It's great for the algorithm. Please do it. All right. Peace. This is a short episode. This is weird. This is making me uncomfortable how short it is. It's an hour and 4 minutes. We had a podcast shorter than this before, actually. An episode.
I remember that, yeah.
I forget why it was so short. It was definitely earlier when I was like barely knowing what to do.
Right.
I'm about to go to the channel and see which episode that was, because I think it was around like around the same time, but I edited it down and it became less, obviously. RDC World started playing The Walking Dead. I just opened YouTube and saw that.
Did that? I don't really watch much RDC World. I mean, like, I like them and all, but I don't watch much RDC World, so I really don't know what's going on.
That sounds interesting, fun. Have you seen Berlizzi like new place?
Yeah, I did. I've seen everything, but I'm the only one of my friends that I know of. He streamed earlier that day before he made that video that came out that day. He streamed earlier that day, basically explaining where he was all this time, yada, 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 on Twitch for like maybe like 5-6 minutes. I was the only one of my friends that I know of that actually caught that stream. And it was a Sunday. I will never forget. I was literally sitting there. I was talking to a friend of mine. And I got the notification on Twitch and I hopped on instantly. I stopped everything I was doing and hopped on Twitch instantly. And I started asking my friends, like, oh, did you see Berlizzi's Twitch stream? They were like, he had a Twitch stream. I was like, so that's a no then. So nobody else saw this.
Wow. But, I'm looking through the podcast and how long the old episodes were, and Jesus Christ, the Star Wars episode was 2 hours and 22 minutes.
We need to do another Star Wars episode soon.
Not soon.
Yeah, soon.
That Star Wars episode is so long. That's more than enough Star Wars content for a lifetime. That's a lot.
There's never enough Star Wars content.
It was literally
like a Star Wars podcast. That's what we should do.
I mean, this is essentially our Star Wars podcast.
Like, we should just like specifically like.
Yeah. So the
name of the Skywalker cast or something.
The hour-long episode is 59 minutes and 10 seconds, and it was the one that was literally us talking about all of the list of Marvel and Star Wars shows that were coming out that they announced a few months ago. That's literally what that episode was. And it was around Christmas. You got your little Santa hat on.
Yes, I love my Santa hat. It's on my I have a little like Christmas Snoopy thing. And so I put my Clone Trooper helmet on it, and then I put a Santa hat on top of the Clone Trooper helmet. It's always Wookiee Life Day in the Galactic Republic.
Yeah, I used you pulling out your katana as the thumbnail for one of the videos. Because I was like, I can't miss this opportunity.
I don't even remember when that was. Oh my God.
It was the one when we talked about the full season of WandaVision. It was like 3 weeks ago, it says. So yeah. We also talked
that's still not ringing any bells for me, man.
We also talked about Arrowverse needing to reboot. We talked about the Harry Potter again. We talked about Raya the Last Dragon and 4K Switch.
Did you see Raya yet?
Nope.
Yeah, I haven't either. I didn't think you did, but I forgot to add on my content I've been watching. I've been watching the Chappelle Show.
Oh yeah.
I love that show so much.
I've been watching, I think I started watching something. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even finish it. I got like halfway through, but I was tired and fell asleep. I was watching Primal, Kenny Tartakovsky show. They added new episodes. Finally, I've been waiting for it. But yeah, it's great. They also added Clone Wars. I was gonna watch it this weekend, but I never got around.
On Disney Plus, yeah.
Kenny Tartakovsky makes some good animated stuff.
I want to say I've been watching Clone Wars, but I haven't because I've seen it on YouTube 1,000 times. Because they had the whole thing on YouTube for like 11 years. I was like, oh, there's no reason for me to watch this.
I would love to see him make a Batman animated like short. Like I feel like it would be so cool. Like the silence will work really well with the Batman animated short of him sneaking around, taking out people. It would be so good.
I want to see him do. No, I don't want to see him do anything. Well, I mean, like I don't want to see that guy. I remember we had started to talk about him a little bit. He does like 3D rendered Batman and Spider-Man like art pieces.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I want to see him do a Batman show so bad.
Yeah, I want to see a Batman show in that style or movie. Like here's the thing, because like the animated DC movies are really good, and the thing is, people associate animated with kid or whatever, and because of that, we don't get as much animated stuff as we should. Right. That's why most of the animated content I watch is from Japan, because they don't give a damn. They understand that animation is great and that you can make a lot of really good stories from animation. So I watch tons of Japanese animation. If America DC just give up on the DC EU sucks, and pour your money into this animated universe because, like, imagine like Spider-Verse levels of money being put into a DC animated movie, bro. It could be so good. It could be so good, or even show. It could be great.
I prefer shows over movies anyway.
I prefer shows over movies, but when it comes to pouring so much money into stuff, it's easier to do it for a movie because it's a one-off. It could spawn sequels, but it's less content overall, so it's cheaper than doing like an hour-long episode. Like,
yeah, I still prefer that for a TV show.
But
I still would prefer that for a TV show.
I like both. I definitely prefer TV shows a little bit over movies, but just barely.
My head hurts.
Yeah, I need to watch Kill Bill Volume 2 because I watched Volume 1. And then I watched someone react to Volume 1 who had never seen it before. And it was great because he was surprised by everything. I was watching it with someone when I watched it that one time, and they had never seen it before, and they were just surprised by everything that was happening, by how ridiculous it was, because they didn't expect it to be so kind of goofy and cartoony and how over the top it is. It was great. Have you seen Inglourious?
What'd you say?
Have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's a good movie. It's another movie by him. It's great. It's great. It's a what is this? I'm trying to think how to describe it. I mean, essentially about a group of Jewish American soldiers.
I know what it's about. I just never saw it. I saw like the ending of it.
It's so good. It's really good.
I did. I forgot what I was gonna say. Actually, it was something about the old Clone Wars show. It was like, my favorite thing from old Clone Wars will always be Mace Windu fighting the droids like with his fists, and he just starts like punching through them.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing ever. That really shows how great Mace Windu is. He was destroying them and there were so many of those super battle droids. There were so many of them.
It was like a couple hundred B2 super battle droids, and he was like,
I really want like a Call of Duty type first person shooter game, but you play as what are those clone troopers called that commandos. There we go.
Oh, super commandos?
Yeah. You play as commandos. That would be dope. Like a first person shooter commando game.
I mean that's just Republic Commando.
Yeah, but it's old.
It is old. I also don't understand why most people like Republic Commando. I got it on PS4.
I mean, I like first person shooters, so
I like first person shooters. That game is so tedious and the controls are so bad and the voice acting is off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's old. We need a new Republic Commando.
Oh yeah, people have been saying that for years.
I think that them remaking, because they're starting, that EA deal is going to be over soon. They're starting to branch out and make new games. They remade Republic Commandos, and I think that's them leading into the fact that they might end up making a new one.
I hope they. I really hope they do. I really hope they do, because this Republic Commandos game.
I just want more Star Wars everything.
I do want more Star Wars everything.
I just need more.
I want Cyberpunk with Star Wars. That's what I want. I want Cyberpunk with Star Wars.
Would you want it to take place in one city or one planet? I mean,
no. I mean, I would want it to take place over like multiple planets, but like I wouldn't even be mad if it was just one planet.
Yeah. I mean, based on the way it looks, I feel like Coruscant would be great. I just like Coruscant. I like
Coruscant is awesome. I love Coruscant. Coruscant's like one of my. It's not my favorite planet, but it's one of my favorite planets.
It has.
I want a game though that's like
The Mandalorian. I fully expect for them.
Yes, but
I fully expect them to make a Mandalorian video game eventually.
I fully expect them to do that too. Like that's obviously, but like they're probably gonna do that eventually. What I want is something like it's like a mix of like Jedi Fallen Order, the Mandalorian. Like did you ever play Star Wars Galaxies?
No.
Okay, in Star Wars Galaxies, you could do literally everything. You could become a Jedi, you can become a Mandalorian, you can become a bounty hunter, a smuggler, you can become an entertainer, a spice runner, a soldier. Like it doesn't matter. And you like there are different storylines for like all that different type of stuff that you can do. And I want a game like that, but it was an MMORPG. So it looked like an MMORPG, it played like an MMORPG. I want that, but like a single player experience. And like it's just completely like what they promised you could do in Cyberpunk, but like Star Wars and multi-planet.
Yeah, and like 3 years, I feel like Cyberpunk will actually be good.
I mean, supposedly an update just came out that fixed like the majority of the issues.
But there's a lot of things that they wanted to do that they couldn't do because they didn't have enough time. And like in 3 years after they're actually done making the game, because they had the proper amount of time to make the game, then it'll be amazing. But until then, I'm not gonna play it until then, honestly. Until it vastly improves, I'm not gonna play it. Like it
was never too horrible to me. Like I didn't run into
it's just knowing that I know the game's not done. I know this isn't what they wanted us to play. I'm aware.
I feel like my biggest issue with Cyberpunk is that you never know when something's a glitch or not. Like when you lose trust in the game, then you don't know whether you should be criticizing something or whether it's supposed to happen.
I don't know. You saying losing trust in the game for me just made me laugh. I'm just like, you just don't trust.
But I mean, like that's what it is. Like you don't know if it's like an actual feature or if you're not supposed, or if this isn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like
you don't trust what the game is doing. Somebody, do you follow? Never mind. Yeah, you do, because I see that you like the post. I was gonna ask if you follow Accurate MCU and if you saw the battle.
Oh yeah, I do.
But it literally, you liked it. I see it right here. Every time I see something comic related, I'm just like, Amir like this. He follows everybody I follow.
It's because I like comics, man. You know that.
But yeah.
Hold on, I'm about to send you a post. This is hilarious. This is literally just a meme about Superman and property damage. And so when you see Superman using the car you're still making payments on as a weapon.
I've seen this on Twitter.
You sit on the phone progressive like y'all ain't never gonna believe this.
That's ridiculous. You know they have like some type of special insurance or some shit.
They have to have some type of special insurance. Like they have to have some type of special insurance. But then like how do you even that I feel like that just ties into The Boys for me because like they have like VOT that handles all that stuff, but it's like in that world where you don't have VOT, how do you make a superhero like actually be like, oh yeah, I destroyed that? Like how do you prove that a superhero was the thing that crashed your car instead of just like reckless driving?
I mean, if it's like in the side of a building, maybe that would be enough.
But like not even that. Like what if it just like wraps around a tree? Like you see like Superman pick up a car and just like throw it and it like wraps around a tree. You have no way of knowing whether or not that's like just
literally has a human-sized handprint in the dent of the car, and you're like, clearly a person with superpowers did this, and this is like, you can't prove it. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like insurance companies are shysty anyway, so I mean, like it's probably like I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled that. There's like scorch marks over the top of your car. They're like, oh.
There's just a Hulk-shaped hole in the wall. It's like, you can't prove the Hulk did this.
Pull a bench up here. I'll be like, no, hypothetically. Not hypothetically.
But yeah, I really want to watch Raya. It looks good. Reviews are good.
Watch Raya. I'm not spending $30 to.
Oh man, I'll split it like 3 ways with some friends and watch it, but I'm not paying $30 by myself.
I will literally.
I mean, at this point, I might as well just see it in theaters at this point because I'm not paying for that. But
my problem is I don't know any theaters that are playing it.
I was gonna say, yeah, is it still in theaters? It should be. I mean, if it was normal times, it would still be in theaters.
Yeah, if it was normal times, it would still be in theaters.
So
like the movie just came out like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So like
came out, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I mean, it's still in theater. It's on Premiere Access until like June 11th or something. Which is so stupid too, because no movie would be in the theater that long. Like absolutely no movie would be in the theater that long. And it's like James Cameron's Avatar, where he's paying like $1 million to keep in the theater each month. Like,
yeah, Luca, that Italian Disney movie comes out in a couple months.
I haven't been following any Disney movie that's not Marvel or DC or Marvel or Star Wars. So
you should check out the trailer. It just visually, the animation, it looks beautiful. I'm interested in it. I'm just glad that they're no longer making movies about white people. I'm tired of them. Every movie they make were about white people. I don't care about white people. I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't give a.
You know, toys and cars, those are cool. But have you seen the second and third Cars movies? I don't think I've ever seen Cars 2. I know I haven't seen 3.
I've seen Cars 2. I never saw Cars 3. I saw Cars 2. I never saw Cars 3.
Yeah. Didn't they make a movie called Planes?
They did make Planes. They made Planes 1 and Planes 2. They were trying to make a whole movie. Yeah, they made a second one.
I don't know.
They did. I swear to God they did, because I remember seeing trailers for it when I was a little kid.
What?
Yeah.
Fire and rescue. That's what it's called. Planes too. Fire and rescue.
Like it made enough money for them to spawn a sequel.
This is ridiculous. I don't even like the way it looks.
I haven't seen it, and I don't want to like.
It came out in 2014.
Yeah, I remember it was a long time ago. I want to put judgment on it because I haven't seen it. I like the first Cars movie. I don't remember the second Cars movie, but I like the first Cars movie.
On it. I was another one. I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur. Yeah, there are a few Pixar movies I haven't seen.
Oh, I haven't seen The Good Dinosaur either, but I heard that movie was depressing, and I don't have time for depression in my life that I don't already come with. So
I don't have time for depression in my life.
I don't have time for extra depression. That's not.
I haven't watched Zootopia in a minute. I've seen Wreck-It Ralph 2 a couple of times.
I don't think I've seen Zootopia either. I've seen both Wreck-It Ralph movies. I love Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, Wreck-It Ralph's great. Big Hero 6 is good.
Big Hero 6 is great. Yo, the amount of people are saying, there was something saying like Big Hero 6 is going to be introduced in the MCU soon, and people were so confused.
That's ridiculous.
I'm like, y'all realize that's a Marvel property, right? Like they started in the Marvel comics in like the 90s. Like this isn't anything new. They're Marvel characters.
I didn't know that. I wouldn't expect anybody else to know that either.
You didn't know that?
No, why would I know that? Why would I know that very obscure fact about this character that is just in a Disney movie? I don't know.
It's not obscure though. They were like popular in the 90s. Like they teamed up with Spider-Man, Silver Samurai was on the team. As a matter of fact, they started as an offshoot of like the Japanese government was like, oh, we need an X-Men team. And so they got a mutant and Silver Samurai to like start up the team. And Baymax was like a giant dragon. Or he was like a robot that could turn into a giant dragon. I don't know where they got that character design from for the movie because that was completely different character design from everything else in the comic. They fought against Doc Ock at the end of their 90s run. They fought against Doc Ock with Spider-Man. Like it was dope. It was, oh my god. It feels like a fever dream, honestly. But
when was the last time you saw Ratatouille?
2 years ago?
I saw it. I watched it last year with some friends over like a video call.
I think it was like 2 years ago, and I did watch it with some friends, but it's been a minute.
Ratatouille is a good one. You know what's fun? Watching movies with friends. Like I watched what was that movie called? Parasite. With some friends came over and watched Parasite. That was fun. I had never seen it. I knew what happened, but
I haven't seen Parasite either. I do know what happens. Elon Musk said that Parasite is his favorite movie, and everyone's like, you missed the point of the movie if you like it. They're like, you missed the point of the movie.
That movie is like, I follow with Rooster Teeth, one of the co-creators, Gus. That's his like favorite movie. He's watched it like 1,000 times. That movie's great. It's a good movie. I haven't watched it again. I want to watch it again, but with people again because it was fun.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I just know that everybody was like,
I definitely need to watch it by myself because you have to watch it with subtitles because it's in Korean, and
unless you speak Korean.
Yeah, unless you speak Korean, which I don't, so I have to watch it with subtitles. And when you're with friends and y'all have little discussions in between, you can miss some stuff. So Monsters University was a good movie. I
didn't see Monsters University either.
I'm just looking at Pixar's movie. Monsters University was good. I haven't seen a second Frozen. I don't really care to watch it, honestly. Incredibles. I love both of those movies. Those are my favorite Pixar movies. I don't
know what my favorite Pixar movie is. My favorite Pixar movie is probably The Incredibles because I like
mine is definitely the first Incredibles. The second one's really good too, though.
I like both of them. I really like both movies, but probably the first Incredibles, yeah.
Pixar just makes some really good movies. But yeah, I'm a dip. We talked about a lot of stuff here. I might add this stuff to the podcast. Us going through, you know what? We actually should talk about Pixar movies in one of our episodes. I never thought about that until now. We should definitely talk about Pixar movies and like rank them or something like that. That would be fun.
We should talk about it. That'd be dope.
Yeah, we should definitely do an episode where we rank stuff. That would be fun. Do some rankings. But yeah.
I mean, like if